This is 1-8, rates, ratios, and proportions. There's a lot of vocab words that go along with this section. The first one is a ratio. A ratio is a comparison between two quantities. A ratio can be written as a fraction, or it can be written, so as a fraction like as x over y, or it can be written with a colon, x colon y, or you can say x to y, like a ratio of girls to boys or something like that. A rate is a ratio of two quantities with different unities, such as 35 miles per 2 gallons. A unit rate is a rate with a second quantity of 1 unit, such as 17 miles per gallon, which would be the simplified version of the rate from above. You can convert any rate to a unit rate. The way that we convert 34 miles to 2 gallons, we just basically simplified it, or converted it to have 1 gallon in the denominator. A proportion is an equation stating that two ratios are equal. When solving a proportion, we use cross products, where the cross products is the same as multiplying the means and the extremes. So multiplying these means, CB, times AD, in order to solve. Let's look at the first example. The ratio of games won to games lost for a baseball team is 3-2. The team won 18 games. How many games did the team lose? So let's set up our ratio of games won to games lost. In this case, that was 3-2, or 3 over 2. Equal to, it says the team won 18 games, so that would be in the column of games won. So 18 games over x, the amount that they lost. Now we're going to multiply our means and extremes. So 3x equals 36. Divide both sides by 3 to isolate x, and x is 12. So to answer the question, how many games did the team lose? They lost 12 games. 12 games lost. Example 2, Corey earns $52.50 in 7 hours. Find the unit rate in dollars per hour. So they're actually giving us our ratio of dollars per hour. So our first one is $52.50 in 7 hours. Whenever we have unit rate, we're going to have 1 on the bottom. So 1 hour. And so we're wondering how many dollars, x. And so again, we can cross multiply, and we get 7x equals $52.50. Divide both sides by 7, and we end up with x equals $7.50. To answer our question, dollars per hour. Example 3, in the past 2 years, a retailer has opened 232 stores. If the rate of growth remains constant, how many stores will the retailer open in the next 3 years? So my two units that I'm talking about are the amount of years and the amount of stores. So years to stores. Okay, at first it says in 2 years, they opened 232 stores. Then it says how many stores, so that's going to be x for stores. Will the retailer open in the next 3 years? Well, 3 will go in the years row. Okay, so now I can cross multiply. I end up with 2x equals 696. Divide both sides by 2, and x equals 348. And it was asked how many stores, so 348 stores. Example 4, solve each proportion. So whenever I see proportion, I should think about cross multiplying. So right when you see proportion, we're going to cross multiply. Okay, so 5x equals 9. To solve for x, we divide both sides by 5, and x equals 9/5. You can leave your answer that way, or you can write it as 1 4/5 or 1.8. That's a simplified fraction, that's why we can leave it that way. Okay, next one. Again, you're going to cross multiply. 2 times 14 is 28 equals 7 times x minus 2. Well, because that has 2 terms in it, because of that subtraction, separating 2 terms, I actually have to make sure that I multiply the 7 to both of those terms. That's distributive property. So 28 equals 7x minus 14. And now to isolate x, I'm going to add 14 to both sides. And I end up with 42 equals 7x. To isolate x now, to get rid of the multiplication, I'll divide by 7 to both sides. and I got x equals 6, or 6 equals x. And next, cross multiply again, so r times 40, which is 40r, equals 8 times 25, which is 200. To separate r, to isolate r, we have to get rid of the multiplication, so we're going to divide both sides by 40, and we get r equals 5. The scale on a map of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park is 3 inches to 10 miles. My two units that I'm comparing are inches to miles. So 3 inches over 10 miles equals, the length of the Ramsey Cascades Trail is about 1 1/8 inches. Well, that'll go in the inches row. 1 1/8 inches. On the map, what is the actual length of the trail? So this will be my x, and now I can cross multiply. 10 times 1 1/8, which is really 9/8. I'll do that on the side. 10 times 9/8. Okay, you can cross simplify. Divide both by 2, so you get 5 and 4, and that gets you 45/4. Okay, so we get 3 times x is equal to 45/4. And then to isolate x, I can divide both sides by 3. Divide by 3. And remember that when you divide, you're actually multiplying by the reciprocal. So instead of 3 over 1, it'd be 1/3. And I can cross simplify again, divide both by 3. And I ended up with 15 over 4, or 3 3/4 miles.